False dilemma. A thinking error in children on the autism spectrum. Would you, as a parent, say your youngster with Asperger's or high-functioning autism does any of the following? Judges himself as strong or weak, smart or stupid? Looks for too much certainty in a world full of uncertainty? Overmonitors his decisions as right or wrong, good or bad? Reacts emotionally when things don't look right? Thinks in terms of extremes, that is, all or nothing, black or white? If so, then your child may be experiencing a false dilemma. In other words, she believes she is stuck in an awful predicament, when in reality, she is not. When Asperger's and high-functioning autistic children fall victim to a false dilemma, they have mistakenly reduced an entire spectrum of possibilities, down to the two most extreme options, each the polar opposite of the other, without any shades of gray in between. Often, those categories are of their own creation, and they are attempting to force the world to conform to their preconceptions about what it should look like. A false dilemma means seeing the world only in terms of extremes. If things aren't perfect, then they must be horrible. If your youngster isn't brilliant, then he thinks he must be stupid. In real life, situations are almost always shades of gray, not black or white. Falling victim to a false dilemma tends to exacerbate depression, anxiety, and a host of other everyday problems. Unfortunately, under duress, Asperger's and high-functioning autistic children often regress to a primitive way of thinking. They are most prone to regressing to primitive thinking when they are having a hard time and feel overwhelmed by their own emotions. A regression is a backsliding from age-appropriate functioning and thinking to more immature ways of functioning and thinking. For that one moment, when the child starts relying on the words always, or never, and views the world in black and white terms, she is slipping back to the way she saw the world as a toddler. Most Asperger's and high-functioning autistic children simply do not have the vocabulary to describe the middle ground. For example, the child either considers someone to be a friend, or not. The concept of different levels of friendship, and the gradual building of trust, may be unknown. Perhaps worst of all for children on the autism spectrum, is the perfectionism pursuant to a false dilemma, and the self-condemnation which may follow. Many Asperger's and high-functioning autistic children often think they should be doing everything right, because if it's not right, it's certainly wrong. In this way, the false dilemma may underlie some of the refusals, which parents and teachers often see in these children. Never try to reason with a child on the autism spectrum. Logic, reasoning, and explanation, unfortunately results in the youngster becoming angry, and more insistent on his viewpoint. It is better to let him have his viewpoint. When you catch yourself feeling frustrated that he simply won't listen to reason, you need to recognize that he is stuck in a false dilemma, and end the conversation. At a later point in time, when he is calm, you can bring up the topic, and together make a list of all the possible ways to view the situation or all the possible solutions. Write down all possible ideas, regardless of how good they are, and do not make negative comments. Otherwise, your youngster will become resistant. Write the pros and cons of each one, and then discuss which idea looks the best. Through this technique, you are teaching your youngster how to look at situations from another perspective. He may still rigidly hold to his original idea, but at least you are teaching him how to consider other options. Also, you can encourage him to think about what someone else would do, if they were in his situation. He may also be responsive to a suggestion that he ask others what they would do. We have just looked at how parents and teachers can help the Asperger's or high-functioning autistic child, who experiences frequent false dilemmas. For more information, visit myaspergerschild.com.